We discussed three principles related to the electron configuration: building up principle or Aufbau principle, Hund's rule, and Pauli's exclusion principle. Based on those three, we wrote the electron configurations. And I explained that in polyelectronic atoms, right? Atoms other than hydrogen, due to the electron-electron repulsions, the variation of the sub-energy levels, the energies of the sub-energy levels present in a given energy level become non-equal. That means second main energy level, for example, 2s and 2p, their energies are different. But for the hydrogen atom, 2s and 2p same energy. Because only one electron, no electron-electron repulsions. Therefore, you need to know what is the order in the variation of the energy of sub-energy levels and orbitals. That order we obtain using that diagram by drawing the parallel arrows. And using that, we write the electron configuration. Then we learn that when electrons are added to orbitals of the same sub-energy level, we call degenerate orbitals. Electrons are first added one by one into the orbitals of the same energy, keeping their spins parallel until maximum number of unpaired electrons are resulted. After that, they get paired. They will get paired after filling electrons, resulting maximum number of unpaired electrons. And the other thing we discussed after discussing quantum numbers, the Pauli exclusion principle, no two electrons can have the same set of quantum numbers in a particular atom. Right. I will quickly discuss those anomalies of the electron configuration or the deviations. After that, we'll discuss few questions on the quantum numbers. Right. In the elements, I asked you to write the configuration. For example, let's say an element like vanadium 23, you can write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d3, vanadium. I use that energy variation 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, then 4s, 3d, 4p, this axis energy. So when you consider vanadium, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, then 3d3. That is how these electrons are filled. Now when you consider the next element after vanadium, chromium 24, expected configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. Now 3d4, 4s2, here when you consider P and D sub-energy levels, P and D sub-energy levels. Completely and half-filled states are relatively more stable. In this particular atom, when you have 3D5-4s1, that is more stable than that. Therefore, this is not the existing configuration. Existing configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5, 4s1. This is the existing configuration of chromium. Reason is this half-filled D sub-energy level more stable. A similar deviation can be seen in copper also. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d9. That is the expected configuration for copper. The actual configuration here is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d9, 4s1, 3d10, 4s1. So there we consider as rearrangement to achieve the most stable configuration. Here 3d5-4s1 atom is more stable than 3d4-4s2 atom. Here 3d10-4s1 atom more stable than 3d9-4s2 atom. So therefore these are the existing configurations, not the expected configurations. So those type of deviations can be seen. There are more deviations when it comes to heavy elements. That means when the atomic number increases. After this one, I gave you. I will discuss separately ruthenium and niobium. But molybdenum 42, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, and 5s2, 4d4 is the expected configuration for molybdenum. Again, similar to chromium, there's a rearrangement. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 4d5, 5s1. So this is the actual configuration of molybdenum. So that is considered as a rearrangement. Right. You can check the configurations you have written. If you have any question, you can quickly ask before I erase the board and move into the next part. So these are actually considered as rearrangement because they tend to gain more stable configuration. Right? The niobium and ruthenium I will explain later after writing this one because this set I am explaining from one idea, that is when completely filled and half filled. That completely filled means say D10, half filled D5. Configurations are there, they are more stable. They are more stable. Therefore, atoms tend to gain such configurations rather than the expected configurations. Right? Expected configuration of silver 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s2, 4d9. That is expected configuration. But again, this 4d10 is more stable, right? Now silver is 47, right? The expected configuration is this, but actual configuration which exists is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 4d10, 5s1. This is the existing configuration of SIL. That's the configuration which exists in SIL. Then after silver you have palladium 46, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s2, 4d8. In palladium you have the expected configuration 4d8, 5s2. That is 46. But again in palladium, actual configuration, it becomes 4d10, 5s not, 5s not necessary, right? So this is the configuration of palladium. Palladium you write 4d8, 5s2, but it is 4d10, 5s not. Now you will ask the question, what about nickel? Before copper, nickel when you write, it is 3d8, 4s2. But in nickel, that rearrangement does not occur. Because in nickel, 3d and 4s, here 4d and 5s. So the 4d, 5s gap is different from the 3d and 4s energy gap. So therefore, in palladium, that rearranged configuration, this is the actual one, not the configuration 4d8, 5s2, but nickel, 3d8, 4s2 is there. So those are the deviations that you can explain and that you should know. These are the things that you should know. The other deviations actually you are not supposed to know, but I will explain few of them, ruthenium, niobium and all. But the reasons are quite complex. Right? So I will just give you the correct configuration, but reasons are quite complex and specific to the element. Right? But these things you can easily explain that half filled and completely filled D sublevels and P sublevels, they are more stable, like D10, D5, P6, P3, they are more stable. Therefore, elements tend to gain such half filled and completely filled electron configurations through rearrangements like this. Because we are writing the configuration or we add electrons to the atom according to building up principle in the increasing order of the energies of the sublevels and orbitals. But due to the fact that completely filled and half filled D and P levels become more stable, there is a deviation. That can be explained. These elements, the variations can be explained based on that. But if you consider niobium, ruthenium, those elements, it's quite. So 41 electrons, 4, 10, 12, 18, 28, 30, 36, 38, 41. This is the expected configuration. But actually in niobium, the configuration which exists is this 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 4d4, 5s1. This is the existing configuration. There's one electron, one rearrangement of this. And ruthenium 44. Expected one 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s2, 4d6. Actual configuration which exists is not this 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s1, 4d7. Those cannot be explained from a simple idea like in the previous one. Right? That is why they are not included in the new syllabus also. So that explanations are not important, right? But that configuration, you can just understand that there's only one electron rearrangement occurs. One rearrangement of one electron occurs, then this becomes 4d4, 5s1, 4d7, 5s1. Other elements like rhodium, also same thing. Right? I gave you that 42 to 47, I think. Those elements at one electron rearrangement can be seen. I think in one class I have explained those rearrangements, but the other classes I have not explained. Last time I explained how to write the electron configuration. Now, according to those rules, now you can understand how to write these configurations in the increasing order of the energies of these sub-energy levels and orbitals, p and electrons. And this building up principle is valid when electrons are added to the atom. Right. I think it is clear to you all, right? Right. Then we'll move into the next part. In the next part, I will quickly explain how to write the configurations of cations and anions. Can all of you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see these electron configurations written in the condensed manner. Right? Condensed electron configurations I explained last time also. That means, for example, I will explain again. Say configuration of, for example, magnesium 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 is the configuration of that noble gas before magnesium. So instead of writing the complete configuration, you can write neon square brackets. Here it is given parenthesis, no problems. Normally we write square brackets, then remaining configuration. What is written in the square brackets or what is represented in the square brackets, that is called a co-electron configuration. This is the valence configuration. Right? In these slides, you can see 4 elements. This condensed electron configurations is nickel at 3d8 4s2. Then copper, you can see that configuration I have written 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, then 3d10 4s1, rearranged configuration. Then zinc, normal expected configuration. Chromium also there's rearrangement. See 3d5 4s1. After that we discussed these elements like niobium, then molybdenum 4d5 5s1. Niobium you can see 4d4 5s1 rearranged. Then niobium, molybdenum, Then ruthenium, rhodium also that variation there, 4d6, 5s1, right? Rhodium. Then palladium, silver. Those elements, those deviations are there. So we can write the configuration like this using that nearest noble gas configuration and remaining configuration, that is called the condensed electron configuration. I hope you can understand this. Right? So those deviations should be known, only the deviations of chromium, copper, molybdenum, silver and palladium, that is enough. Right? Ruthenium, niobium, rhodium, those things are not important. Right? Those deviations are not important, right? There you can see niobium, molybdenum, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium and silver. Those elements have deviations. When you consider elements up to 54, but after 54 there are a number of deviations there. When the atomic number increases, there are more deviations. The reason is actually that the electron repulsions become more and more complex. Therefore, that energy variation expected by the predicted by the building up principle changes, and some orbitals, some sublevels become more stable due to complete or completely or half-filled states there. So that situation becomes more complex. Therefore, in our discussion in A levels, actually you must know how to write the configurations for first 36 elements thoroughly, and I expect you to know the configurations up to 54, up to xenon. Right. I think this is now clear to you, right? If there's any question, you can ask. And in our theory note, I had given some space there to write the configurations. Yes, I think one of you have a question, you can ask. Like say zinc 30, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10. This is the configuration of zinc. Now, this part you can see 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. This is the configuration of argon. Therefore, the configuration of zinc, I can write argon, square brackets, 3d10 OS2. This is called the condensed electron configuration. Condensed electron configuration. Now, in a question, if you are asked to write the electron configuration, you must write the complete one. Most of the cases they ask, write the electron configuration in the conventional notation or general notation. Then you have to write the complete one. Sometimes you are asked to write the condensed configuration. In such cases, you have to write the shortened form or the condensed electron configuration. Right, so you have to write. For example, say molybdenum. This is the correct configuration. This one, not this. This is what we expect. This is not the existing configuration. This is wrong. This is the actual configuration. In all the examples I gave, the one I have written secondly and marked with the correct tick, that is the correct configuration, existing configuration. That is the one you have to write. In the exam, in a paper, if you are asked to write the configuration of copper, you don't need to write the expected one and actual one both. Only the actual configuration, correct one. But when I am explaining, I write both. Right? Only the correct configuration. හරි එක විතරයි ලියන්න ඕනේ. දෙකක් ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Okay, shall we move into the next one quickly? I think I answered all the questions sent by you, right? And then we'll move into the next part. Right? So far, we learned that when we write the electron configurations, that means when electrons are filled into an atom, they follow that building up principle. When you consider ions, there are two types, cations and anions. Cations are formed by removal of electrons, anions are formed by gaining electrons in. When you consider the cations and anions formed by these atoms, those are monoatomic cations and monoatomic anions. Monoatomic, right? So monoatomic cations are formed by the loss of one or more electrons by these atoms. Loss of the electrons by these atoms, right? After the electrons are filled, that degeneracy of the orbitals is lost. Degeneracy means that orbitals of the same energy, sub-energy level, they have the same energy and all. Once electrons are filled, that does not exist there. Therefore, when electrons are removed, they are removed from the outermost sub-energy level. So the order which was used to add electrons to the atom is not used for the removal of electrons. That means when it comes to writing the configurations of cations, we write by removing the electrons from the outermost sub-level of the outermost energy level. For example, I will first explain how to write the configurations of cations, right? Those who have the tute, you can on page 54, you can write in the configurations under this one, you can write configurations of cations. Configurations of cations. I will explain. Now, when cations are formed by the loss of electrons. The monoatomic cations. Monoatomic cations are formed by the loss of electrons from neutral atoms. Right? They are formed by the loss of electrons from the neutral atoms. Now let's say one example. Iron Fe 26 configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, ps2, 3p6. We know that 4s is filled, after that 3d is filled. 4s2, 3d6. This is the configuration of iron. But when electrons are removed from iron, right, that last electron of iron added to 3d level. But when electrons are removed, they are first removed from 4s. So when you consider Fe2 plus, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, then 3d6. Fe2 plus has this configuration. Even though the last electron comes to 3d level, electrons are first removed from 4s. When electrons are removed from the atom, that building up principle is not used there. That is not valid because now atom has electrons. There are different types of electron-electron repulsion. So the situation becomes more complex and electrons are removed from the outermost sub-energy level. Let's say Fe3 plus. Now this you can understand better if you write the configuration in this way. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d6. If I write 4s2 first and then 3d, then you will think that okay, electrons should be removed from 3D rather than 4s. No, they are removed first from the outermost orbital of the outermost energy level. Then Fe3 plus configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5. If someone just write 4s not, there's no problem, but even without writing, that is correct, right? No need to write here. This 4s not කියලා මෙතන ලිව්වත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ලිව්වේ නැති වුණත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right? So when electrons are removed from an atom, first thing you have to understand, the removal of electrons start from the outermost orbital of the valence shell. Valence shell means outermost energy level. Now let's say another example, copper 29, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, OS1, 3d9. Now in copper forms two ions, copper plus 1, copper plus 2, copper plus 1 ion, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d. Sorry, copper actual configuration is 3d10, 3d10 first, 3d10. Copper 2 plus 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d9. Configuration of Cu 2 plus. So this is how we write configurations of ions. There's another important thing I will explain with this. Now, stability of these ions or atoms according to the electron configuration, we can compare with respect to gaseous isolated atoms. So we are writing the configurations of gaseous, ground state atoms, ground state. So if you consider a gaseous atom in the ground state, if it has a stable configuration, what are the stable configurations? Configurations such as like those with half filled and completely filled sub energy levels. If there is a configuration in the final energy level is 2p6, say for example argon 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Neon, argon, those elements, you have this s2p6 in the last energy level. The neon 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. So that configuration generally you can say ns2, np6. This is the most stable electron configuration. ns2, np6. N represents a principal quantum number of the last energy level. That is the number of the valence shell. Here n is 2, this one n is 3. Now this is the most stable configuration. And the other configurations such as half filled and completely filled sublevels like P3, D5, D10, such configurations are also stable, relatively stable, but the stability of these species based on the electron configuration we can compare with respect to gaseous isolated state, gaseous atoms and ions. That means, for example, when you compare these two, copper plus, there is a stable configuration 3d10 there, here 3d9. Now we know that 3d10 completely filled sub energy level is more stable. So I can say in gas phase, gaseous copper plus more stable than gaseous copper 2 plus. But everyone knows that In solutions, the most common ion that you have heard for copper is copper 2 plus. Electron configuration can be used to compare the stabilities of gaseous atoms and ions, gaseous isolated atoms and ions. In solutions and in solid state compounds, due to different reasons, for example, due to the solvent effect, sometimes like when copper 2 plus ions are present in water, copper 2 plus ions form a complex ion with water molecules. Then it gets stabilized. Likewise, due to the different reasons, due to the effects of solvent, due to the effects of the other ions, because of that, in solid state and in solutions, you cannot compare the stability based on the configuration directly. But for gas phase, you can directly compare. Accordingly, you can say copper 2 plus in gas phase more stable than copper plus is more stable in gas phase than copper 2 plus. In gas phase, Cu plus is more stable than Cu2 plus. In gas phase, Cu plus is more stable than Cu2 plus. But in aqueous solutions, we know Cu2 plus is more stable than Cu plus. When it comes to iron, Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus, if you consider these configurations, here 3d6, here 3d5, yes, in iron, Fe3 plus more stable in gas phase than Fe2 plus. But in this particular case, in solutions also, Fe3 plus is more stable. එතකොට iron වල solution එකේ 3 plus more stable, gas phase එකේ 3 plus එක more stable. හැබැයි copper gas phase එකේ 1 plus 1 more stable, in aqueous solutions plus 2 more stable. එතකොට aqueous solutions වල compounds වල තියෙන එක අපිට configuration එකෙන් කෙලින්ම කියන්න බෑ. configuration එකෙන් කෙලින්ම අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් gas phase එකේ stable ද නැද්ද කියන එක compare කරන්න පුළුවන්. That is the idea there. Then this is the way how you write electron configurations of cations. Electrons are removed from the outermost sub-energy level. And this is known as the most stable configuration, that is called the noble gas configuration. Right. I think it is clear to you. Then we move into the anions, how to write the monoatomic anions. They are formed by gaining electrons. By neutral atoms. Monoatomic anions are formed by gaining electrons by neutral atoms. When electrons are added into atoms, we follow the building up principle. Therefore, writing configurations of anions, same as writing configurations of atoms. Yeah, you have to just continue that, right? Let's say a few examples. Anion O2 minus. Oxygen atom, we know 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, oxygen. O2 minus means 2 more electrons, then 2p6. If I consider another one, say fluoride ion. Fluorine is 9 atomic number, 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Fluorine 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Fluoride ion 2p6. Similarly, if we consider chloride, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5 is chlorine. Chloride, it is 3p6. Now, there one important thing you can identify. When stable anions are considered, they always gain stable noble gas configuration. During the formation of anions, especially the stable anions like this, the species always gains the stable noble gas configuration 2p6, S2p6, S2p6. Right? That is the important thing you have to understand regarding configurations of anions. Is it clear? And all these common anions you write, which are formed by nonmetals, you get the stable configuration in the valence shell. I think you can understand that. Okay. Right. Then we'll question number MCQ number 67. Can all of you see the screen? Can all of you see the screen? Quickly answer. මේ ක්ලාස් එකේ ළමයි
Yes, sir.
එන්න දැන් අනිත් පන්ති වලට ටක් ගාලා questions අහනවා ඊට වැඩි. මොන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද අහන්න දැන් මම මොකක් හරි question එකක් අහනවා ටක් ගාලා answer කරන්න නැත්නම් වෙලා යනවා. Right. Now question number 67. First, select the correct answers. Which of the following statements true regarding calcium 2 plus and zinc 2 plus? This Z is atomic number. Calcium atomic number 20, zinc atomic number 30. Quickly select the answer. Calcium 2 plus and zinc 2 plus. Right. Simple A, both ions have 6 electrons in 6 electrons each in the outermost p subshell. Calcium 2 plus, calcium electron configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2. Calcium 2 plus, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Outermost p subshell 6 electrons there. Calcium 2 plus. Correct. Zinc configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10. Then zinc 2 plus 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10. So zinc 2 plus outermost level now in the iron, third level, 3s, 3p, 3d. So 3p6 is there. So both you have p6 configuration. So 6 electrons in the outermost p sub level. That is correct. Both ions have, the subshell means sub energy level, right? Both ions have 18 electrons each in the outermost shell. Both ions have 18 electrons in the outermost shell. Calcium 2 plus, now you have 3s2, 3p6. So only 8 electrons. Zinc 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 18 electrons. So second statement is wrong. Both ions do not have 18 electrons. Only zinc has 18 electrons. Then calcium 2 plus has 8 electrons in the outermost shell, subshell, the outermost energy level. Outermost shell means energy level, right? Zinc 2 plus has 18 electrons in the outermost shell. Calcium 2 plus 8 electrons. That is correct, no? Zinc 2 plus 18 electrons in the outermost shell. That is also correct. Both ions have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Wrong. So correct answers, A is correct, C is correct. When A and C are correct, in these A, B, C, D type questions, this is the way you get the answer. If only A and B correct, answer is 1. If B and C correct, answer is 2. If C and D correct, answer is 3. If A and D correct, answer is 4. If any other answer combination is correct 5. Now here the correct answers A and C. Therefore answer for the question is 5. පළවෙනි හතරෙම A and C කියලා combination එකක් නැහැ නෙමෙයි. A and B වුණොත් first එක answer එක. B and C වුණොත් second එක. C and D වුණොත් third එක. A and D වුණොත් fourth එක. ඒවට අයිති නැති combination එකක් තියෙනවා නම් නැත්නම් එක answer එකක් විතරක් හරිනම් නැත්නම් ඔක්කොම හරිනම් ඒ වගේ වෙලාවකදී 5 වෙන්න ඕනේ answer. So 67 answer is 5. Fifth one is the answer for question number 67. Right. Then we'll do another question quickly. Question number 82. I think you can see the screen. Question number 82 and 83. We'll give 2 minutes, quickly get the answer. Now what they have given here is that last configuration. මෙතන මේ number එකක් දාලා නැන්නේ D10 S2 D6 D10. You can last configuration. අන්තිමට තියෙන configuration එකේ type එක තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකට match වෙන එක තෝරන්න තියෙනවා. Atomic number 48. Quickly get the answer for that. 82 and 83 both. Configuration of the element of atomic number 48. Element with the atomic number 48 is cadmium. Cadmium has the configuration D10S2, 4D10 5S2. If you write the configuration for cadmium 4D10 5S2. So answer is first one. I hope you can understand that, right? Cadmium is the element after silver. If you remember that silver 47 we wrote the configuration. After that cadmium. Cadmium configuration ends with 4D10 5S2. So D10S2 is the answer. Number 83. The atom X forms an anion. The number of electrons in the last sub-energy level of the anion could be. Normally, anions are formed by nonmetals. They have electrons filled into S and P orbitals. Especially the last electrons being filled to P orbitals. Non-metals, because metals are there with filling of electrons S1, S2 like that. Sodium, potassium, those metals in the periodic table, group 1, group 2 and all. After that, D electrons are those elements called transition metals, and D block elements they are next time. After this one. Then in non-metals, most of the cases you have the P sublevel being filled there. So if it forms an anion, I mentioned earlier also, normally in stable anions, they gain the configuration S2P6. So last sub-energy level is P, so 6 electrons are there. If the X forms an anion, its last sub-energy level configuration is P6. Last sub-energy level configuration is P6. So answer is first round. Right. That is 82 and 83. I think I explained last time. I explained 23 regarding cobalt 3 plus ion. Cobalt 3 plus ion. Cobalt, we know atomic number 27. Normally in the exam you are given a periodic table with only atomic numbers written. Paper එකේ periodic table එකක් දෙනවා අන්තිමට atomic numbers විතරයි දාලා තියෙන්නේ. So cobalt 27, right, after iron. Then cobalt, if you write the electron configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d7, 4s2, 4s2, 3d7. cobalt 3 plus 3 electrons are removed, then you will get 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d6, cobalt 3 plus. But they ask is the number of unpaired electrons in gaseous cobalt 3 plus in the ground state. Now cobalt 3 plus last configuration 3s2, 3p6, 3d6. 3s2, 3p6. They are paired. Then you consider this 3d6 sublevel, d6, 5 d orbitals, right? D6 means I will show you in the board. Now cobalt configuration is this 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d7, 4s2. Right? I think you can see the board clearly, right? Then cobalt 3 plus, these 2 electrons and 1 electron from this 3d7 will be removed. Then you get 3d6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d6. Now d6 configuration is like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now here one orbital is paired, these 4 unpaired. So therefore you can say 4 unpaired orbitals. Unpaired means only 1 electron there. 4 unpaired orbitals in cobalt 3 plus. Can you understand that one? Cobalt 3 plus 4 unpaired orbitals, right? I will share this. So answer is the number of unpaired electrons in the gaseous cobalt 3 plus and in the ground state 4. 4 unpaired electrons. Unpaired electrons means unpaired orbitals. Orbitals with unpaired electrons. So 4 are there. Then 124. Which quantum numbers simple n, simple l, ml, ms are associated with the shape of an atomic orbital? The quantum number, yeah, that is assignment 5. This actually I had given you earlier before the vacation. Assignment 5 I had given, I think, 6 assignments. Now this one I asked you to do question number 2, 3 and 4. Right, first we'll discuss question number 3, that is related to quantum numbers. After that we'll discuss question number 2. Now question number 3, a hydrogen atom orbital has n5 and ml minus 2. Right? What are the possible values of L for this orbital? ml minus 2. Now possible values for this orbital. When n is 5, they refer to hydrogen atom. N5 now L possible value 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. L get values from 0 up to n minus 1. Those who have not covered quantum numbers, that new students will explain that in a different video this week, then you can understand with the examples. This part I explained last time. L values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they ask possible values for L where ml is minus 2. Ml, the relationship is ml equals minus L through 0 up to plus L. ml minus L through 0 up to plus L. When n is 0, you don't get ml minus 2. When n is 1, also you don't get that. When L is 2, when L is 2, you get -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. When L is 3, what are the values for ML? -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3. When L is 4, again you have -4, -3, -2, 0, +1, +2, +3, like that. So they ask, what are the possible values for L for this orbital? Possible values for L. Now, hydrogen atom orbital has N5 and Ml -2. Now, fifth energy level, Ml -2. Now, in the board, I have given this. And now you can see the board. N5, when N is 5, L possible values 0 up to N minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ml, when L is 0, Ml 0, when L is 1, we know -1, 0, +1. Now, Ml -2, that question I think it is given Ml -2, no? We'll check that again. Yes, Ml -2, N5 and Ml -2. So N5, Ml -2. So there you have 1, there you have 1, there you have 1. According to the question, possible values of L for an orbital with N5 Ml -2. When L is 2, that means D sublevel you have an orbital where the Ml -2, F sublevel orbital where Ml -2, G sublevel even though it is not used, there's one orbital Ml -2. So possible values for L 2, 3 and 4. 2, 3 and 4. කියන්නේ මේ N5 වෙලා Ml -2 වෙන orbital එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් sub levels මොනවාද කියලා අහන්නේ. N5 වෙලා Ml -2 orbital එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් D වල. ඒ කියන්නේ 5D orbitals, 5F orbitals, 5G orbitals, like that. So that is the idea there, right? What are the possible values for Ms for the orbital? Possible values for Ms. Now, for any orbital, there are two possibilities, +half and -half. There's no choice, only two there, +half and -half. Because atomic orbital can accommodate for 2 electrons maximum. So +half and -half are the possible values. Electron microscope has been widely used in obtaining highly magnified images of biological and other types of material. When an electron is accelerated through a particular potential field, it attains a speed of 9.47 in 10 to the power 6 meters per second. What is the characteristic wavelength of this electron? So there you can use de Broglie's relationship for the de Broglie equation that we have discussed long time ago. Lambda equals h over mv. Right? The characteristic wavelength, their speed is given. H we know Planck's constant 6.626 10 to the power -34 joule second. Mass of the electron actually 9.108 10 to the power -31 kilograms. Mass of the electron, you can refer to my note or the resource book as is given. The speed of this electron 9.47 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 meters per second. So if you substitute like this, that is correct. I have done the substitution here. You can see lambda equals HOMB. This is the de Broglie equation. This is called the wavelength of the matter wave or the de Broglie wavelength. This is Planck's constant. Mass of the particle, speed of the particle. Planck's constant is given 6.626 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. Mass of the electron, we know the mass of the electron, you are not supposed to memorize, but you can refer to note and get that 9.108, or you can say 9.11 10 to the power minus 31. All must be substituted with SI units, right? See, joule second, kilograms, meters per second. SI units must be there, right? Because when marks are given for the substitution, if you get 5 marks, 4 plus 1 mark for the units. So units are also important. I will quickly simplify without taking time. This 6.626 divided by 9.108 equals 0.728, and that is divided by 9.47, 0.0768. This answer you get 0.0768 multiplied by, now in the numerator minus 34, here minus 31 plus 6. Minus 31 plus 6, that means minus 25. Minus 25 goes to the denominator, minus 34 into plus 25. Then we get 0.0768. 25 minus 34, 10 to the power minus 9. No? So this can be written 1, 2. I can write 7.68, 10 to the power minus 2, and this 9, 10 to the power minus 11 meters. That is the wavelength of that. Right? I hope you can understand this, right? If there's any problem, you can ask quickly. If not, I will move into the next question. Find whether each of the following sets of quantum numbers for the hydrogen atom are valid. If a set is not valid, indicate which of the quantum numbers has a value that is not valid. And there's a question asked. One question asked there that explain the question number 83 again. Then second question asked to, they ask comparable to the wavelength of atom. The other question asked is, can we use calculators for the A-level exam? No. At the moment, you are not allowed to use calculators. Right? I am using a calculator because I can simplify that quickly there, but you are not supposed to use a calculator, right? In the A-level exam, certain subjects they allowed recently, some of the technology subjects, but for science subjects, calculators are not allowed. That is in local exams, right? Local A-levels. Right. That Second question, what's the problem there? I will come back. Second question is a wavelength compare. This wavelength is actually now they ask normally size of an atom is in the range of 10 to the power minus 8 meters. Size of an atom. Size of a nucleus in the range of 10 to the power minus 12 to 10 to the power minus 13 range. Right? So this wavelength of the this wavelength is not comparable to that of an atom because size of an atom, diameter of an atom is greater. Therefore, it is not comparable. Right. We'll see question number 5. One question asked to explain that MCQ number 83. I will discuss that after the question number 5. Determine whether each of the following quantum numbers valid. Look at A. N4, L1. Now when N is 4, L can get values from 0 up to N minus 1. So L1 is possible. You can L වල value එක N වලට සමාන වෙන්න හරි ඊට වැඩි වෙන්න හරි බෑ එච්චරයි. L කියන්නේ අඩුයිනේ value එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. L is okay, but ML here now these 4 quantum numbers represent an electron. No? Right? This is a set of quantum numbers. Now if L is 1, it cannot be ML2 there because ML is from minus L through 0 up to plus L. Right? So therefore this ML2 is incorrect. ML2 is incorrect. So first one is not a valid set of quantum numbers. Right? I hope you can understand the relationship between N and L is L can have values from 0 up to N minus 1. Then ML minus L through 0 up to plus L. Right? Then B, so first one is incorrect, that is not a valid set of quantum numbers. The value which is not valid is ML2, right? This is not possible. Then B, N4, L3, that is correct. ML minus 3, that is also correct. MS, 2 values possible, plus half or minus half. So this is a valid set of quantum numbers. Right? This represents an electron in 4th energy level, F sub energy level, one F like an electron in F sub energy level. N4 is 4th energy level. L3 is F sub level. L0 is S. L1 is P. L2 is D. L3 is F. ML minus 3 is an F orbital. Then MS plus half means electron in F orbital. That is correct. C, N3. So B is correct. C, N3, L2, that is correct. ML minus 1 also correct. MS plus half, that is also correct. So you need to have the idea of the relationship between N, L, ML and MS. So C is correct. C is a valid set. D, N5, L0, that is correct. ML0, MS0. MS there is no value 0, plus half or minus half. Right? So this is wrong. E, N2, L2. L2 is wrong. L වලට L වල value එක කවදාවත් N ට සමාන වෙන්න බෑ. If N is 2, L is less than 2. So E is incorrect. Question number 6, since I just explained that one, will give you 2 minutes to write the configurations of A, B. Yes, first 3 elements A, B and C. මේ අයන්ස් 3 ටක් ගාලා ලියන්න බෑ මම විනාඩි දෙකක් වගේ දෙන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ තනියෙන් දැන් ලියන්න. නැත්නම් A to E පහම ලියන්න ටක් ගාලා. 6 Roman number 1 ටක් ගාලා ලියලා නැති අය. Quickly write the configurations. A to E, question number 6, Roman number 1. You can refer to the atomic numbers from a periodic table you have, or I will read the atomic numbers there that cobalt 27, then you have tin, atomic number is 50, zirconium atomic number 40, and silver atomic number 47, sulfur atomic number 60. Right, quickly write the D7. Now cobalt 2 plus, so 4s not 3d7. Tin 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s2, 4d10. Up to this 10, 12, 18, 28, 30, 36, 46, 48, then 5p2. That is the configuration of tin. Now we also write tin 2 plus. 2 electrons removed from this level, 5s2. Check again 10, 12, 18, 28, 30, 36, 46, 48, 50, then 48. Zirconium 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, then 4p6, 5s2, 4d2, 5s2, 4d2. Now 4 plus, so 5s naught, 4d naught. So you don't need to consider these two after this one is. Silver, we wrote the configuration earlier. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10. And make a maru karala prashna 4s2 and then 3d2. Normally we write all the sub-levels in the same main energy level together. After that 4p6, 5s2, 4d9 is the expected configuration for silver. 47, 10, 12, 18, 28, 30, 36, 45, 47. But we know there's a rearrangement. It is 5s1, 4d10. Now we are writing silver plus 5s naught. Then may S naught, D naught ලියන්න ඕනේ. Sulfur atomic number 16. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. That is sulfur. S2 minus 2 more electrons, so 3p6. S2 minus. That is how we write the configurations of these ions, right? Different ions, configurations of ions. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Number 59, the periodic table. In the first part, I have given the history of the periodic table, different people and their attempts to classify elements in different ways. And then we discuss about the modern periodic table, the way how elements are arranged. Right? Those pages of the note I will share to the group also. Then those who do not have the note can go through them. Then there's a periodic table like this I have given. Now we are filling this table completely. In the board I will explain from A to Z how this is constructed and how we write these elements, how we place these elements, how to label or number the groups, how to number the periods, what are the different group numbering methods, right? Number of information we learn. Right? Actually, this page 63 I have left there to write all the important information regarding that. This is the latest periodic table published by IUPAC. Now this periodic table, actually, that what is called the longer version is this. In most of the books and even here you see a table like this. මෙන්න මේ වගේ table එකක් නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ දකින්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ rows දෙක අයින් කරලා තියෙනවා. පල්ලෙහාට දාන්න. That is because this table gains more space there. Right? It is difficult to represent that. Right? That is why you see the table like this. මෙන්න මේ table එක තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැම වෙලාවෙම දකින්නේ. Right? So all these things are discussed in the next lesson, right?